All right, my name is Carlos Santa. I work at Intel and I support Chrome OS. For the last few months, I've been looking at a stability problem in Chrome OS. The use case was actually very simple. It was a video app. It was using texture streaming, so it was making 3D calls. And it was because it's the video app. It also uses, the media engine for the video decode. The behavior that I was seeing, it was a frozen UI followed by a black screen, followed by a system reboot, and then I would go, "Oh my gosh, this app is really bad." Then I spent some time trying to understand the graphics architecture in Chrome OS, and then try to come up with a solution. So I don't have the time to explain all of this, but in Chrome OS, this GPU process is one of the main processes in the system. It's a privileged process in the sense that it's the only one who can make 3D calls. Another interesting thing about the GPU process in Chrome is the compositor as well as the context of the applications are running within this GPU process. If something goes bad in the GPU process, then stuff goes really bad within the UI. To give out a sequence of events, have the video app, it was crashing, then it was hanging the GPU, and after a few seconds, the GPU would do a full GPU reset, and then the GPU process will get restarted, and then after that, things will go bad, like frozen UI, black screen, etc. Part of the solution was to realize that in this particular case, there isn't really a need to reset the entire GPU, but rather to reset just the media engine. In this case, it's a video use case, so more likely than not, it was just the media engine that was causing the hang. To my surprise, the solution was actually sitting on the DRM mailing list. There's a patch series that is called Timeout Detection and Recovery, and it has been sitting on the DRM mailing list for about a year now, and it gives me the ability to reset the media engine. I have this picture here about chicken and an egg because the patch series has been sitting on the mailing list for about a year because it requires a user, like a media driver, and because of that, hasn't been able to be merged. To go back to the solution, using TDR, now I have the changes in the media driver, in which I can use the watchdog IOCTL. And then if the video app crashes, then I can just detect that the media engine was the one causing the fault, and I can just reset just that one engine. By doing that, I leave the 3D engine alone, as well as the GPU process, nothing happens to it, so the stability improves. The status right now of the TDR, the basic TDR using the default timeout has already been upstream. TDR we support with the GOG firmware, it's not in upstream. TDR with the watchdog timeout, not in upstream because it requires somebody to use it. I'm thinking that for this particular problem, Chrome OS could be a good user. I work with the developers of TDR to come up with the IGT for Watchdog, and I submitted it last week to the mailing list. I went ahead and prototyped all of this in Ubuntu OS using the DRM tip, and I made the changes in the new open source driver IHD for Intel. That is working perfectly. I also run the IGT, to have some sort of sanity that passes. And then I backported everything into Chrome OS. That also is working. And now I'm implementing the changes in the media driver in Chrome OS to see if I can finally finish this. Thank you.